If you're watching this, you probably have a specific number of weight that you want to lose. Maybe you want to lose 20 pounds, maybe 50 pounds, maybe even more than that. But before we talk about how you're going to do that, we need to kill a myth that destroys people's progress every single January. You cannot spot reduce belly fat. I don't care what the guru told you, doing 100 crunches a day won't burn the fat over your abs. Your body is the one who decides where fat leaves from, not you. But here's the good news. While you can't control specifically which location fat leaves your body from, you can absolutely control the cause of fat loss in the first place. And if you're willing to look at this like a long-term dedicated plan, a 52-week system, rather than a 4-week new year, new me crash diet, I have the complete blueprint for you to lose exactly 1 pound per week for all of 2026. Let's get into the video. First things first, you have to accept that everything comes down to simple math. 1 pound of fat contains roughly 3,500 calories of stored energy. This means to lose 1 pound per week, you simply need a 3,500 calorie deficit across 7 days. So 3,500 calories divided by 7 days equals 500 calories of deficit per day. From a math perspective, that's it. That's the entire game. But of course, executing on that requires a game plan. Now, here's where most people mess this up. They think that if 500 calories a day of deficit is good, 1,000 a day is better, which technically on paper is correct, math-wise. They will lose weight faster. But the problem is when they go to execute that, they do it purely through hypercalorie restriction. So they start to do things like skipping breakfast and starving themselves until 2 p.m. They cut out all their carbohydrates and they start to run their body purely on caffeine and willpower. As you can imagine, this is a recipe for burnout. It will work in the beginning. It will cause initial weight loss until it doesn't. The day will come when your body starts to fight back, metabolically adapt. Weight loss will slow. You will be hungry, you will be agitated, you will be frustrated, and you will probably just throw in the towel and quit altogether. And there goes your daily calorie deficit, and more than likely, on back comes the initial weight you lost. So instead of cutting 500 to 1,000 calories a day purely from skipping meals, we're going to build that deficit through a complete lifestyle redesign. We're going to engineer your habits so that you hit that deficit without feeling like you're just dieting at all. And here's the 4-part system to do it. Hey, real quick, if you're a business owner who wants to lose the stubborn weight and reclaim the health, energy, and confidence that you have lost without weight loss injections, without restrictive diets, and without becoming dependent on medications to stay healthy, click the link in the description below to check out one-on-one coaching with myself and my team. Across my career, I have helped over 1,200 clients lose a combined total of over 10,000 pounds. And if at the end of our time working together, you don't absolutely love your results or you didn't love the service that you were provided, you can ask for a 100% refund. So again, if this sounds interesting, check out the link in the description below, fill out an application, and see if we're fit to work together. Thanks, and enjoy the rest of the video. Part 1 is your daily non-negotiables. To hit that deficit without feeling like you're dieting, we implement 3 daily non-negotiables. The first non-negotiable is going to be getting 8,000 plus steps daily. This is your secret weapon. It's called NEAT, N-E-A-T, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It's all the movement that you do outside of formal exercise or workouts. And while technically, if you're setting aside intentional time to go for a walk, this will fall into a gray area that we could debate is non-exercise activity or not. It's undeniable that simple hacks like parking further away from store entrances or taking the stairs instead of the elevator are not formal exercise and can make a massive dent in that calorie deficit that you are trying to create. Now, while it's going to vary drastically based on your individual biometrics, walking speed, and environment that you're in, 1,000 steps can burn anywhere from 30 to 70 calories. But let's just use 50 as a nice middle ground and for easy math. 8,000 steps will get you approximately 400 calories burned. Now, if that was all contributing to a deficit, not just total burn, that's nearly your entire deficit right there without skipping a single meal. But again, of course, 400 calories burned does not directly equate to 400 calories of deficit. It's still good to see the math and understand how big of a role this simple intentional habit of increasing your step count, increasing your non-exercise activity thermogenesis can have on your weight loss goal, because it all adds up. And here's the thing, it doesn't even feel like exercise. So you don't get the psychological burden of, I have to work out every single day. Now, your second daily non-negotiable is to eat protein at every meal. And there's a couple reasons for this. One, protein has the highest thermic effect of food. That means your body burns more calories just digesting it than it does carbs or fats. And more importantly than this, protein actually keeps you fuller for longer. They actually published a study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, and it confirmed that higher protein intake significantly increases your satiety or feeling of fullness, which, of course, unsurprisingly, led to a reduced overall calorie intake throughout the day. And you can just think about this anecdotally for a second. When you eat a bowl of cereal for breakfast, you're probably hungry again in 2 hours. But if you ate 3 eggs and some turkey sausage, you're probably going to be good through lunch. And those are going to be similar calories if you select the proper brands and serving sizes, but it's going to be totally different satiety outcomes. It's also worth noting that systematic reviews and meta-analyses of human randomized controlled trials confirm a direct dose-response relationship between protein intake and skeletal muscle mass. Now, probably wondering why that matters. And the reason it matters is because at rest, skeletal muscle burns approximately 3 times as many calories as an equivalent weight of fat. Said differently, the more muscle that you have, the more calories you're going to burn every single day at rest, only further contributing to that daily deficit you are after. Now, for your third daily non-negotiable, it's sleep. Get 7 to 8 hours. Again, non-negotiable. If you're sleeping 5 hours a night, you are fighting a losing battle. Poor sleep is going to spike your ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone, and it's going to tank your metabolism. A comprehensive review in Sleep Medicine Reviews found that sleep deprivation is directly linked to increased appetite, reduced fat loss, and higher rates of obesity. So if you want the math to work for you, you have to sleep. It's not optional. Now, if you've seen any of my other videos on similar topics, you've probably heard me tell the sleep story about my client, Kim. When I worked with Kim, we hit a patch where the progress absolutely tanked. She only lost about 3 to 4 pounds across a 2-month period, and she was doing everything I told her to a T. She was very compliant, very disciplined, and very coachable. But one day, she decided to go and get a sleep study, and with it, she found out that she had sleep apnea and needed a CPAP. Shortly after she started using the CPAP consistently and improving her sleep quality tremendously, she went on to lose 21 pounds in the following 3 months without changing anything about her workouts or her nutrition. So I tell you this story, and I actually tell it on this channel often, because you can do everything right on the diet and workout side of things, but if your sleep is out the window, it will be an absolute anchor to your progress. It doesn't make progress completely impossible, but it severely slows the rate of results. So we've covered your daily non-negotiables as part 1, and part 2 is going to be covering the actual nutrition strategy. And this is going to be a little bit deeper than just eat protein at every meal. Okay, so let's talk about food. Forget clean eating versus dirty eating. You need to focus on eating in a way that sustainably produces the deficit that you are after without having to starve yourself or completely eliminate foods that you enjoy. When it comes to nutrition for weight loss, the calorie deficit is the absolute main priority. And of course, you can get there without eating. You can just work yourself out into a deficit, but it's probably going to be a lot easier when you're focusing on the actual calorie intake. So yes, the protein strategy that we discussed earlier supports the deficit by making you feel fuller for longer and having a higher thermic effect of food, plus the muscle mass increase benefits I mentioned. But there is still one more part of the nutrition that is critical, but yet to be mentioned. And it's what I call high volume eating. This means targeting high volume, low calorie foods. So think about this practically when I say high volume. If you eat a handful of almonds, and it's going to be about 200 calories, versus you eat an entire bowl of fruits and vegetables, which works out to be the same amount of calories, which one is going to keep you more full? That little handful of almonds or this big bowl of fruits and vegetables? Obviously the fruits and vegetables. So when you're putting together your plate, you should focus first on the lean proteins, the chicken, the turkey, the fish, the lean beef, and second on getting the high volume, low calorie foods like fruits and vegetables. Fill up on these things first, and you will be supporting the main theme of nutrition, which is calorie deficit, calorie deficit, calorie deficit. And here's the part that's going to save you some actual sanity. It's deploying the 80-20 rule. So you don't have to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. If you're on track with this 80% of the time, and the other 20% you go on date night with your spouse, you have a business dinner or a wedding or a vacation, it won't ruin your progress entirely. And it will also give you the much needed occasional breaks from the diet so that you don't burn out and quit because you're miserable. This is the difference between a hyper-restrictive diet and a strategic system. A diet demands perfection. A system accounts for reality and it's pragmatic. You are a human being, not a robot. And look, I want to be clear. I'm not saying to go crazy during those 20% diet breaks. I'm saying that if you are getting your steps in, hitting your protein, prioritizing your sleep, and staying in a deficit 80% of the time, as long as you don't completely blow out your calories during those 20% events so far that you cover the spread of your entire daily deficit created during the 80% of the time where you're on your game, you're gonna have room to live your life. And that's what makes this sustainable for a 52-week period, an entire year, and different from all of the other New Year's quick, fast crash diets that you might be considering right now. So that covers part 2, which is the nutrition strategy. Now, let's talk about training, which is part 3. When it comes to exercise, people are typically doing it purely to burn calories. And while that's not incorrect, it might not be the highest leverage use of your time. And the reason is because when you're in a deficit, your body wants to shed calorically expensive tissue. Muscle is expensive, as I mentioned earlier. It burns calories just sitting there, 3 times more than fat. So if you aren't resistance training with your exercise, your body will burn muscle for fuel and you'll end up what we call skinny fat. Lighter on the scale, but soft, weak, and metabolically probably worse off than when you started. So you shouldn't just be exercising purely for the sake of burning calories. You should be exercising to resistance train and maintain as much muscle mass as possible. And you can do this in just 3 to 4 resistance training sessions per week. For efficiency's sake, I recommend full body movements. So compound lifts like squats, presses, rows, and deadlifts. And then focus on progressively overloading those movements, meaning do a little bit more weight or reps than you did last week and continue to do that over time. Resistance training during that calorie restriction is the single most effective strategy to preserve lean muscle mass and improve body composition. But it does have to be coupled with that high protein intake, which is why we covered that earlier. Now, I want to be clear, we aren't trying to become bodybuilders. We're just trying to tell your body, keep the muscle, burn the fat. And here's the thing, this does not take 2 hours. Again, the reason that we're doing resistance training is because it's more time efficient for the calories you're gonna get in return by building that muscle. All you really need is, again, 3 to 4 sessions per week, and these can be 30 to 60 minutes apiece. So call it 2 to 4 hours a week. That's it. This is the 80-20 rule applied to your workouts. Maximum leverage for your most valuable asset, which is your time. So with training, it's definitely a quality over quantity game. More doesn't directly equal better. Now for part 4, which is the last part of this system, and it's playing the metabolic long game. As you lose weight, your metabolism adapts. It slows down to preserve energy. This is called metabolic adaptation, and it is a normal, predictable biological response. Your body is literally lighter, therefore it requires less calories to run. Now, most people will panic when this happens and they start to cut their calories even further. But it's not necessarily the correct move, and it's typically how you end up exhausted, hungry, miserable, and in what some people call calorie prison. You need to periodically go back to your maintenance calories. So this can be for 1 or 2 day periods or 1 or 2 week periods, depending on how long you're running your deficit for. And this is actually going to allow your hormones to recover. A recent systematic review found that intermittent energy restriction, meaning going back to maintenance, significantly improves long-term fat loss compared to continuous dieting. So if you were to think about what this actually looks like on a graph, as opposed to just a straight line down, it actually looks like down, flat, down, flat, down, flat. It's those periodic breaks where your goal is not to lose weight, it's actually to maintain weight, eating at maintenance, allowing your hormones to recover. So what this looks like in practice is you being in a deficit for 8 to 12 weeks and then taking a week or 2 back at maintenance calories. And I'm emphasizing maintenance over and over and over again because sometimes people hear that they're gonna have a break and they go into a caloric excess for that 1 to 2 week period and they actually regress their progress. That's not what it is. It's maintenance. You should not gain weight during that period. You should just hold your weight at what it is. And I'm making this point because I've actually had clients in my career who freak out a little bit when they see their calorie total increase by 500 or more calories because they think they're going to gain weight back. Again, so long as you don't go so high that you put yourself in an excess, that will not happen. And while technically when you move back to maintenance calories, you might see a 1, 2, or 3 pound gain due to natural fluctuation, as long as you haven't been blowing out the calories and it doesn't continue to progress and the line starts to move back upwards, you're gonna be fine. And you're gonna be thankful that you did it because your hormones will be back, your energy will be back, and you will feel 10 times better than if you just kept a straight line, constant deficit through the entire 52 weeks. Because the purpose of this is sustainability. It's to get the weight off throughout this next year and actually keep it off long term. Because when you do this properly with a system, it becomes a new normal by the end of it. And of course, I get it, you want results fast, but here's what I know. Every person who has come to me for coaching, at one point in time, they tried to do this the fast way and it failed, which is why they're coming to me for coaching in the first place. Okay, they have lost weight and gained it back. But the ones who come in and realize, hey, I actually need to commit to a long-term system instead of just looking at this in the short term, they will end up being the ones who lose 50, 60, 100 plus pounds and actually keep it off because they did the math to lose the weight the right way, systematically, with a new lifestyle and new habits. So let's recap everything. The math to lose a pound a week for the next 52 weeks is simple. It's a 500 calorie deficit per day on average. You build that through daily non-negotiables of 8,000 plus steps, protein at every meal, and quality 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. Remember, eat for volume and follow the 80-20 rule, as well as resistance train 3 to 4 times per week with progressive overload. And for really long-term metabolic health preservation, go back to maintenance calories for 1 to 2 weeks every 8 to 12 weeks of deficit that you have. That's the blueprint. That's how you lose 52 pounds in 2026. Now, if you want the complete framework that I have used with business owners to help them lose over 10,000 pounds combined in my career without the guesswork, without the trial and error, click the link in the description below to apply for coaching with me one-to-one. I will give you the exact nutrition plan, the exact training program, and that personalized accountability in your pocket for the entire journey. So no more spinning your wheels, no more starting over in February. Let's make 2026 the year that you finally fix this for good. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.